I declare this convocation open for the conferment of external degrees.
Chancellor, I have the honor to announce that on the recommendation of the Senate, the Council has resolved that the degree of Bachelor of Information Technology external be conferred on those who will be presented by the Dean, Faculty of Information Technology.
Chancellor, I present P.M. Amarakon. T. Aswini. WKU Dilshan. DMCC Disanayaka. DMPN Disanayaka. DMRC Disanayaka. DMNM Disanayaka. CLR Fernando. HHM Fonseca. S. Hajivan. HMLK Herat. BS Hausen. AKA Isura. TN Jaivira. MS Javikrama. EK Laddu Hetty. UGS Lakshan, PMD Madhushankar, MPC Mahatantirige, MFM Murshid, EGI Nisansala, AWCE Pereira, MNP Pereira, JKTK Pereira, PPN Piyatissa, S Pragashne, T Rakshita, MN Ratnasiri, B Suresh Kumar, M Tavaranjan, PN Vanyarachi, BIM Watagoda Pitiya, DM Batatota, NHIA Jayakadu, MARG Jayasekara, MSV Karunaratna, PPR Vanyarachi.
By authority vested in me as Chancellor, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Information Technology, External.
Chancellor, I present in absentia GKC De Silva.
By authority vested in me as Chancellor, I confer upon the person whose name has been presented the degree of Bachelor of Information Technology, External, in absentia.
Chancellor, may I request Chairperson, Center for Open and Distance Learning, to introduce Professor Duminda Alahakon to deliver the convocation address.
Professor Daminda Alahakun is a professor of business analytics and the director of Research Center for Data Analytics and Cognition at La Trobe University, Australia. Professor Alahakun has over 15 years' experience as an academic in Monash, Deakin, and La Trobe universities in Australia. In Sri Lanka, he had over 10 years in the IT and finance industries. He has also worked in the Netherlands and Australia in the same industries. His research expertise lies in the areas of artificial intelligence, big data, data analytics, and machine learning. Professor Alahakon introduced the innovative artificial intelligence algorithm, Growing SOM, that is self-organizing maps, in 2000. GSOM has widely been adopted in industry and academia, including extensions by several international research groups. His work also resulted in a technology startup called Conscious Machines, which is currently operating in Melbourne, Australia. Daminda graduated from University of Colombo, Sri Lanka, with a first-class honors degree in computer science, receiving the University Gold Medal for top graduating student. He has also received the Sri Lanka Association for Advancement of Science Computer Award. In 2002, he received his PhD degree from Monash University, Australia, where he was awarded the Monash Artificial Intelligence Prize. He works closely with the Australian artificial intelligence research community and chaired the Australasian AI conference in 2009 and was program co-chair in 2017. Professor Alahakon works closely with the University of Moratuwa through its Data Search Research Center. I cordially invite Professor Alahakon to deliver the convocation address.
Thank you, Vishaka. Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Deans of Faculties, Registrar, Librarian, Bursa, Deputy Registrar of Examinations, and Chairperson, Center for Open and Distance Learning. I'm very happy and feel privileged to have been invited as the guest speaker at this convocation ceremony. Although not a graduate from University of Moratuwa, I have been associated with this university for a very long time, over 2 decades, I can say. Even from my PhD days, I have worked very closely with a number of departments, especially with the CSE, Computer Science and Computer Engineering and Science and Engineering Department, where some of the algorithms that we developed while I was at Monash, Deakin, and now at La Trobe has been trialed and tested by very clever young people at Moratuwa as final year undergraduate projects, masters by research projects, and so on. But I've also been very lucky and privileged to have supervised quite a number of Moratuwa University graduates in their PhDs. I've completed supervising 7, I believe, PhDs from Moratuwa. And my research center at La Trobe at the moment, the Center for Data Analytics and Cognition, has 6 PhDs currently. And I am very proud to say that they are the power behind the CDAC or the center. And they are the main contributors who have made this center in a very short time, in 2.5 years, one of the leading practical AI research centers in Australia, and making a name for ourselves around the world as well. Now, it's a really good time. It's really good to see that you are all graduating with the degree, a bachelor's degree in information technology. Really, really good time. I'm sure you have heard of big data and that the saying that we live in a digital world. It's important to understand what is this digital world? Why is it so important? And where does artificial intelligence come in? By a digital world, what we mean is that most of the things that we do, as well as our environment, is being represented in digitally. For example, there are videos, there are sensors, and there are so many wearables that things that we wear, which generate readings, which can be captured and electronically recorded, and hopefully used for very useful purposes. So there's all the objects, events, behaviors are being captured digitally, but in the recent past, the most important, the new phenomenon is that we ourselves, our opinions, our behaviors, our deeper emotions, and our thoughts, we are leaving these or traces of these digitally, mainly by social media. Social media has changed the whole scenario. And all this information has created this digital world. So you can even think of a digital representation of the natural world is being created. So what can we do this? What is so important about this? So the term big data means not just large volumes of data. Some people just mistakenly say lots and lots of data, so we'll need stacks and stacks of hard disks to store this. That's not what big data is all about. Big data, of course, means volumes, but also the frequency of generation. We are creating this information very frequently, very fast. So it's been changing, so it's called the volatility of the data. But also there's a variety. There's so much diverse types, categories of data that's being created. There can be images, videos, Internet of Things data, sensor data, and of course there's social media, text, images, and so on. So how do we make use of this? How can we really, so what's the good about this? That's where the technology, data analytics, and machine learning can come in. That's why even now I think even politicians have started talking about artificial intelligence, which is a good sign. That's a good sign for all of you, because what a time to be graduating with a degree in IT. So in this digital world, what can we do? What can you do? And how can you go? What's the next step from here? I'm sure many of you have already thought of the type of work that you do. Perhaps you have already started working and have been working for a while. But it's important to understand that you must think of your job in a very creative, innovative way, and also position yourself in this so-called digital information world. You must be excited by the fact that we are living in a time of revolution. After the agricultural and industrial revolution, this is the information revolution. And just how lucky are we to be living in such a time? Because humans always continue to advance, change, and develop ourselves. It happens gradually, incrementally, but during the times of these revolutions, there's a big jump. That's what happened with the agricultural revolution, that's what happened with the industrial revolution, and that's what is happening with the information revolution. So it's very lucky to be alive at such a time. But we lucky few are not only being alive and observing this, but we are part of it. And not only just being part of it, you have the ability, we have the ability to be architects who define this path. It's a fantastic time to be alive. And you must think of your jobs that way. You are graduating today into this fantastic world. So I'm sure you have heard of this story of the two bricklayers. They were doing the same thing, and somebody came and asked one fellow, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just laying bricks so that I can earn a living to take to my wife and kids." And there was another guy who was doing the same thing, and this guy asked, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm building this fantastic building which is going to be a world-famous cathedral." They were doing the same thing, but they thought about it in their mind, in their vision. They saw different things. Now, it's up to you to say, how does your mind work? What do you see of your future? You are graduating with a Bachelor of IT. So there are so many pathways that you can take. And I think it's important to take a bit of time to give you some idea, some pointers perhaps, of where you can, or how you can think of the type of areas that you can work on. For example, now, again, people or researchers in my lab have worked with cancer surgeons and healthcare practitioners, making use of social media data of where cancer patients in cancer forums talk about themselves, the issues they face, the mental dilemmas, issues, problems, fears, and the pains that they feel. Also about the clinical situations, the medications they take, and asking questions about when they should go for surgery, what type of doctors they should consult, and what kind of after effects and so on. There's a lot of such information being expressed by cancer patients in cancer forums. Now, the doctors, the clinicians do not have the time or even the ability to read through hundreds of thousands of these posts. For example, we accessed 28,000 such patients and over 1 million such posts over more than a year. And that's where, where do we get involved? Where can you get involved? So the technology comes in, we use what we call natural language processing to put structure or pull out important information from this unstructured data, right? Because it's all free text. And of course, there are emoticons, emojis, and all kinds of things in there. So a medical practitioner or a healthcare worker can read perhaps 100, but not 1 million such things. That's where technology comes in. That's where big data, data analytics and artificial intelligence can come in, natural language processing. We can pull this information, summarize, and so on. But we can go further. That's where perhaps some of you thinking of research. Where does research come in? So we used a psychological model of emotion called Plutchik wheel. Now, it's at the moment used by psychologists to define the type of deeper emotions humans feel. We built a computational model of that. And using that and running that across these millions of posts by the cancer patients, we managed to extract deep emotions expressed by these. And this is over a year. So 3 months before the surgery, a whole year after the surgery, we can understand how their emotions fluctuated. We built emotion transition models of each of these patients. And that's now being used by a Canadian cancer care institution. It's being built into this, it's called Cancer Chat Canada, so that they can provide better care, based on better understanding of these patients. A long story, but it's one way of getting this message across to you. IT doesn't mean that it's not about just programming. It's not about just systems development, network administration. Perhaps just like the first bricklayer, you might be doing that, but don't ever think of that. Don't do that to yourself. That's the important thing. Think of this very exciting time. Think how you can change this world, because it's the information revolution. There are many other ways that we have used, and I don't think it's the time or the place for me to make long speeches, but we have used this for traffic management, working with our government traffic authority based on sensor data that's collected from Bluetooth sensors across Victoria. Victoria is the state where Melbourne is, where my university is. Now, is this important to Sri Lanka? Of course it is, because even today, I'm not sure that it's okay to get the name, but I had a discussion with Pygmy, and they are very, very keen to build on that. They are ready to provide the infrastructure, the technology, and the technical expertise so that researchers can work with them. They are happy to fund this if the right people are there, so that the university and industry can work together to take these ideas forward. So you can see that there are many examples like that. We worked with energy industry. We were across the globe. We are currently working with Finland and Siemens Finland in predicting electricity prices so that they can sell their electricity at different markets. They have an electricity market side there. So there are many, many ways where you can think of yourself in a very differently, not, as I said, just only as programmers, network administrators, systems administrators, and so on. And it's very important time for this country as well, because I think it's the right time for Sri Lanka to really get on board this information revolution. And it's one way, perhaps the only way, I'm making a bold statement here, where Sri Lanka can really become a prominent force in the international stage, because where our people are really bright, well, there are rather bright people around this world, but I can tell you so far, I've worked with quite a number of different people from different countries. In terms of creativity, we are far, far ahead. At the moment, I think most of our creativity is being used for all these jokes that they create on WhatsApp and Viber and so on. That's nice, but it's time that this energy is channeled into something that can really make this country very, very special. So I will, we have set up some workshops and so on, and I'm sure there are many courses, the right jobs that you can go into. There are many online courses that you can do. So you have to think about your graduating today, where from now. Don't just set yourself up for, okay, I'll settle down in life and then, now I'll, 50 years later or so on, don't ever think of a retirement plan. That's not, I don't think of a retirement plan, so why should you, right? So think of what you are going to do next, and also how you can contribute to the country, how you can make this country very, very special. I congratulate all the graduates, and it's a very, very special day for you in your personal lives and, of course, in your professional careers as well. And I wish you very best for 2020. It's a new year and a brand new decade. It's a decade where information and the ability to make use of this information will define your position in this world. Thank you.
May I request Vidya Jyoti, Professor KKYW Pereira, Chancellor, University of Moratuwa, Sri Lanka, to deliver the Chancellor's address, please.
Ayubowan, Vanakkam, good afternoon. Vice Chancellor Professor Kapila Pereira, Deputy Vice Chancellor Professor KPS Mahanama, our guest speaker Professor Duminda Alhakon, thanks for coming to spend time with us and delivering an address. Members of the Council, members of the Senate, deans, registrar, directors, chairperson Center for Open and Distance Learning, CODL, academic, administrative, academic support, and non-academic staff, particularly of the CODL, IT faculty, and the computer science and engineering departments. Distinguished guests, parents, and well-wishers, dear graduating students, you are the most important stars of the day. Thank you for your efforts. Now, if I gave this address in the morning, I would say good morning, but if I gave it in the afternoon, I would say good afternoon. But the Sinhala and Tamil versions of addressing Ayubowan and Vanakkam, they don't have to be changed. So take pride in the fact that our national language is in a way much more superior. We are not just wishing good morning. When you say good morning, afternoon can be anything, but we are wishing long life by saying Ayubowan. Similarly with Vanakkam. Now, let me congratulate the fortunate graduates of today for the achievements gained through their hard work. The achievement is also for the academic and non-academic staff who designed, planned, and monitored the courses. I congratulate the Vice Chancellor and all staff, including those in the Center for Open and Distance Learning, CODL, and importantly, the partner institutions. The curriculum and course contents have been designed by the University of Moratuwa. Examinations have been conducted by the University of Moratuwa itself so that the quality of the graduates is ensured. Thus, you are going out today with a degree from the highly respected University of Moratuwa. And also, as I mentioned earlier, I thank the partner institutions who delivered the course material and brought up our graduates to this standard. We all knew that the available seats or vacancies for students at the University of Moratuwa and other teaching institutions were inadequate to meet the student demand, particularly for IT education. The demand by those who suitably qualified at the GC advanced level examinations every year. Further, the requirements of industry for graduates with IT qualifications was high and is rising. Larger and larger numbers of capable graduates were sought by the industry giants such as Millennium IT, Virtusa, WSO2, and other big and small firms. The meager numbers of IT graduates coming out of the traditional local universities were thoroughly inadequate. Increasing seats or increasing vacancies for an entirely internal education was not feasible with available funding. This new BIT program, now it's not new, it's 14 years now by Moratuwa University, has been implemented from 2007. University of Colombo did implement a BIT program, similar BIT program, even earlier. They also should be congratulated as pioneers. It is remarkable that the fees charged by the university are comparatively quite low. I understand approximately 140,000 rupees for the entire course of 3 years. An employed student is free to do self-studies. All students can get the help of partner institutions if they so desire, of course at a price. Even with such costs added in, the total cost for the entire course is about still below 400,000 rupees. I hope I am correct. Thank you. Okay, thank you. What an ingenious innovation to meet a necessity of the country for IT expansion without burdening the students too much. Students and parents, without burdening the students and parents too much. Elastic and expanding demand from industry. In fact, the demand for IT graduates in the country is elastic. If there are more capable graduates, industry will be creating more IT products to cater to the world demand. The development of IT products could be here in Sri Lanka or abroad, and if it is in Sri Lanka, the products can be exported through wire or otherwise to other countries. Foreign exchange flows in. Actually, IT is an area which is quite different from the traditional sciences and engineering. Traditional engineering, say if you have to produce mechanical engineers, we would find out how much does the industry require. 30 people per year, 50 people per year by the different private sector and government sector organization, and try to cater to that demand. In the case of IT, I am told by the IT giants that if you produce more, we can absorb more. If we produce more good graduates, we can expand, because they are catering to the world, not just by exporting our graduates, but locally developing IT industry. So the limit here is really the availability of IT graduates. Of course, when I spoke to these giants, they also told me they should be capable, they should adapt themselves, they should fit in, then we can take any number. So to meet this, the innovation of the university by the BIT program is of course laudable. Congratulations to the Center for Open and Distance Learning, CODL, of the UOM, IT faculty, Computer Science and Engineering Department, and the university as a whole, including the previous Vice Chancellors and the present Vice Chancellor, Professor Kapila Pereira. Some of you may choose to work as academics or researchers. Others will be practicing and leading and helping the unprecedented development going on in the country or serving in other parts of the world. So actually today's concept is that our graduates of course should primarily serve the country, but by serving the world, you are serving the country also. Because now if you take simple things like cell phone of today, this one, this is Nokia small tiny phone, made in a small country, less than our population, that is serving the world, not only the people who produced it. And without such facilities, without IT, information technology, even in the simple form of a phone, what you call the intelligent phone, I don't know where we would be today. So that is, of course, that's a part of the information revolution, which our guest speaker was able to explain to you very, very clearly. Now, on information technology, I would like to add a few words about information itself. You are, of course, competent in information technology, but information, what is it? There was a time 10,000 years ago, not very far, that information could be only in the brains of living beings, mostly humans, and information is stored only there. It could not be stored anywhere else. So, the first pictures of human hands and horses appeared in a crude form within caves of France and Spain. That signified the storage of information outside the brain. In caves, they have painted certain things, horses and hands and so on. That is what they saw. If they saw a horse which is very big, they will draw a very big horse and small horse by the side to show that there are horses of this side and this type, and that was stored in these pictures. And people can have a look at it and say, I see, yes, there are these two types of horses. Some others who have not seen very many horses would say that. So that is, information was put into the memory of picture form and transmitted to others year and later, others' brains. It took another several thousand years for the next development in information technology to take place. That is by using of something else, a picture, figure or letters, to stand for a spoken word. A picture, figure or letters to stand for a spoken word, that is the languages, either picture form or letter form. It took another 10,000 years. These figures stand for a spoken word. Figures that stand for words define written language. Alphabets were created. This innovation expanded information recording and the transfer of information in written form then became possible. The information technology was growing. That is basically the start of the information technology, although today we are speaking in much bigger, faster information technology. I'll come to that later. Now, those days, in a herd of sheep, each sheep is kept track by a notch or on a stick. 1 notch, 2 notches, 3 notches. Those numbers did not exist, but they can have a notch. Few notches. If there are about 10 sheep, you will have 10 notches, and one can imagine you feel one notch on a stick and then point out to a sheep, the next notch and point out another sheep, like that. So these resemble the sheep. Token systems and pictographs, they are not photographs but pictorial graphs, were also used first by Sumerians. Alphabets and the decimal system spread out from the Middle East and the Indian region to all of humankind. The decimal system reached France in the middle of the 12th century, not very long ago. Until that time, they didn't have a decimal system. After the University of Paris was in existence for over 300 years, then only they got the decimal system. Today, binary numbers complement decimals and are a necessity in computers and information technology, including rapid information transfer. With the advent of telegraphy, using dots and dashes, a form of binary, telegraphy transmitted through wire initially and wirelessly later, the modern IT applications commenced to flourish. The Pony Express, which was the fastest method of long distance communication in America till then, had to close down in 1861. That is, Pony Express is when you want to send some information, a message, news, anything, to a faraway place 1,000 miles away, they send this through ponies, the small horse type of pony. Somebody carried this message, and then they stay overnight, and they send another set of ponies. They don't stay, but it is continuous, 24-hour run. One set of ponies, then another set of ponies, like that. They had to go on for more than 20, 30, 40 days to get the information from one place to another place. Sri Lanka, of course, they say some information was carried by birds, like Salalihini Sandesi and so on, trained birds who will take a message, a letter from one place to another. But this Pony Express, it's an express run by a company. They had to close down in 1861. Once the telegraphy started, you send the message by Morse code or whatever it is, and instantly it goes to the other end, and this company had to close down in 1861, not very long ago, only 160 years ago, that the Pony Express closed down and telegraphy came. And when you think of 160 years ago, if a man's age is as much as 80 years, this will be 3 generations. One person, his son, that is 160 years. Today, use of binary, Boolean algebra, transistors, and solid-state integrated circuits, fiber optics, satellite systems, IoTs, and other devices and technologies are playing their part, led by people who know, people like you, people who know IT, people like you, and as our honored guest speaker mentioned, you are really not just bricklayers, you are change agents. You are changing the world. And it's not just Sri Lanka, you are changing the world. And you are able to do that in whatever capacity that you decide to be. And as you know, unlike the Pony Express, today you are able to take a picture from the cell phone and send it instantaneously through whatever form, Viber or other, to another distant place. So how fast can information go now? Take a picture which is a lot of information, goes to the other end of the world in an instant, maybe a fraction of a second. And this is not just sending the pictures and information in respect of scientific, medical, educational, and any other information are available very much faster. And not only you send it, if you need some information, you can get it. You know, Google and similar other people, other innovators, so that you need some information, you search and get it automatically. Not that only what is sent to you, but you can search and get it. So this is a really fast, really remarkable part of the information revolution. And with this, what happens? All the other technologies like medical technology, scientific research, innovations, and educational methods, as you know, distance education, all these things are moving very, very fast. I won't say exponentially, it is even faster than exponential, it may be very, very fast, rising very, very rapidly. And ability to do these things today, now because there was no method of recording information, we went to make a picture, then cut notches on a stick, like that, and make pictures, cut notches, and we had devised words and written language Now, written language is such a cumbersome thing. If you pause for a moment and look at something, there are letters. So, to write the letters, your brain had to develop a certain part in the last couple of, say, 1,000 years or so, couple of centuries, so that you write something and say, SON, sun, and then that is written into the book or paper, and somebody else or maybe the same person looks at it and retranslate the word SON in his own memory, and say sun, and sun means such and such a small person like this, and you have to go through all that process. That is because there was no other method of information recording. Today you can take the photograph of the sun and that is it. You don't have to say SON. So actually our brain's certain part of the brain was developed for the purpose of understanding words and taking it into your head. So it may be that after a few decades from now, humans may not need writing and reading. It looks tragic to us. In the same manner as today, it is possible to record events audio-visually and keep them or transmit them or to others without having to translate events to words and reverse translate the events inside the brain in the process of reading and understanding text. So today there is no necessity. Of course, those who like literature and poetry will regret that many of these things may vanish if people don't have words and so on. So hopefully they will also coexist. But the necessity is fast going away, and that is all part of the information technology revolution. And you are part and parcel, as our guest speaker mentioned, not just a worker, but part and parcel of the changing world, and you can change the world much, much faster. So innovations of today, now what took 1,000 years earlier, can be done, I suppose, in a few days today, thanks to information technology. With the help of IT, humans will develop extensively and very fast, unless, of course, they destroy themselves by war or evil convictions. Therefore, we should keep our morals and social responsibilities and ethics correct, always helping other living beings. Try to give happiness to others. Your own survival will depend on this good quality, because however much science and engineering and technology development you might see, you might do, if they are diverted towards evil things like nuclear bombs, then we may not live. There is always this threat, not only nuclear bombs, there are chemical weapons, there are all sorts of things where good innovations have been and are threatened to be used again in this world. So, to prevent such things, I think you all must win the moral war. That is, you must have the conviction, I will do something good. Whenever you go for a job or otherwise, you must always think, am I helping the world in this job? If not, better choose another job. So, with these few words, and finally, I wish all our graduates the very best in employment or in your future ventures as entrepreneurs and job creators, because many of you will be initially may work for somebody else. Otherwise, today you could have your own company, and your company can be one person here, one person in Australia, one person somewhere else, and the company can exist like that and can reach more and better societies. That is the way to progress fast. I wish you all the best in your future ventures, and I wish happiness to all. Thank you. I declare the convocation closed.